Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz. Today I want to talk to you about survival mode, burnout, and taking your power back. After last week's episode where I talked about my big healing breakthrough, I wanted to go back a little bit in time and share with you how it all came about, what happened to me that I didn't even realize at the time, and what it means for those of you out there who are still living in or stuck in survival mode. Now, survival mode is not something that anyone really goes, I'm in survival mode, I don't know what's going on, or my life or body doesn't know what's happening around me. Most people don't realize it at all. They think they're tired, overwhelmed, stressed, failing, behind, not coping as well as they could be, doing everything for everybody else, bored, dissatisfied. All of these feelings, symptoms, and problems show up in their life. But that's not what really is going on behind the scenes. Survival mode is actually when your nervous system stops caring about your goals, your dreams, your manifestation rituals, your life. It just exists on autopilot. It runs on fumes and it switches to a mode that we call keep me alive throughout the day. There's no energy left over for anything. There's no fun, there's no joy. There's an emptiness, a hollowness, a part of you that feels like there's nothing for you whatsoever. And many people try and tell you, you fix this with mindset. Just change the way you're thinking. Just say a positive affirmation and that'll get you through. It's not that case. It's actually a biological state. Your nervous system, your brain, your body, they're working overtime to keep you alive and to keep you safe. It is the body's last resort operating system. It is when nothing else matters but keeping you alive. You focus on things and nothing really gets done. You try your hardest. Some days you don't even want to get out of bed. You run on autopilot. You just do the things that you know you do by unconscious programming and habit. You go throughout your day and you're looking at the end of the day going, what did I do today? And most of the time you're going to tell yourself that you didn't do anything. These are part of the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn system. The responses in your body that switch on because your system has decided that safety is its biggest priority. That safety is what is going to keep you alive. For when your body or your nervous system doesn't feel safe, everything else goes on the back burner. There is no prioritizing self-growth, no prioritizing healing, creativity, connection, intuition. There's no prioritizing anybody else. You just do what you can and you barely get through each day. So many women, especially because most of my clients are women, and I talk from my own perspective of my life, struggle in survival mode. Now, some of the things that will come up when you are in survival mode that you will have difficulty in doing simple, basic functions. Things like making decisions. Don't give a woman in survival mode too many choices. She won't know what to think. She will want to shut down. She wants somebody else to make that decision for her. It's really quite ironic because a lot of my business time I spend on Facebook trying to help women out there answer questions about what's going on. And the big one is, I don't know whether to do this or that. Do I stay or leave? Everyone knows your favorite question out there. Am I the arsehole? They're asking that question because they don't know within themselves if they're right or wrong. They don't know how to set boundaries. They can't stay motivated. Planning ahead goes out the window. They can barely get through the day, let alone planning a week ahead. They don't move towards their goals. Half of them wouldn't even know what a goal was. They don't believe in their dreams anymore. They don't trust themselves, and they truly struggle to stay consistent. It's not because you're lazy or flaky or unmotivated. It's simply because your nervous system is overloaded. It is desensitized because its one job is to keep you alive. Yes, it sounds drastic, but it actually is. Survival mode is totally unhealthy for us. The body gets flooded with cortisol and adrenaline and too many hormones that we truly can't function well. We eat to stay alive, and none of that food processes through the body. We get silent in the background. We shut down. We don't talk about our emotions. We just focus on getting through each day. When survival mode is running your system, so that is the internal compressor in your brain that's running that mode for you, things like irritability and emotional shutdown show up. You can't have real conversations. People ask you how you feel and you're like, I don't know. You have no idea. Chronic fatigue can come along where you're exhausted from doing nothing. You wake up tired, you go to sleep tired, you don't feel like you sleep. But you also have this wired energy. You're tired, but you feel like you have to be on the go. That's because the nervous system, and especially your empath, is on high alert. What is going to impact me today? What is out there that's going to stress me out? Where am I unsafe? You feel on edge all the time. It shows up in the body with things like digestive issues, adrenal patterns, cortisol overload, burnout cycles, anxiety, masters overfunctioning, difficulty in sleeping and insomnia, sensory overload, brain fog, memory blanks. All of these things show up and we just dismiss it and think, oh, that's quite normal. I don't know how many women are out there talking about right now the loss of their libido, and they just think there's something wrong with them. And then they try and label it, and at the moment the key phrases are menopause and perimenopause, when it's not the actual case. It is your body flooded with too much cortisol and adrenaline, and you're becoming fatigued because of it. When you are in survival mode, you will feel no joy. Even things that used to make you smile, it'll be like, I don't know how to feel happy. You get obsessed about thinking about the future, but at the same time you want to avoid it. You really can't do anything. You get into procrastination modes and self-protection modes. You self-sabotage. You make things harder for yourself. You have chronic people-pleasing and fawning all the time. You just want to do everything for everyone. You take care of them before you take care of yourself. There's compulsive caretaking. You have to pick up after other people. You have to do everything for them because that's the only way that you feel seen and heard and actually have value. You have conflict avoidance. You can't have real conversation. You don't even share your opinion for fear of what someone will say that will send them on an attack, that will raise your anxiety in the levels in your body so that you shut down even more. And that shows up sometimes as dissociation and numbness. So many women don't recognize this as survival mode. They think it's their personality, they think it's hormones, they think it's just how they are. But it's not who you are. It's how you've adapted. Fight or flight is something triggered in the body when your cortisol increases, your adrenaline spikes, blood flow diverts away from the digestive system and creative and sexual functions into the muscles. It's where your body is either preparing to fight for something or flight, to run away. We become scared of our own shadow. When you're in survival mode, lots of relationships break down because you just can't deal with it anymore. You can't continue fighting or everything turns into a fight. And then all you want to do is run away. You keep thinking that emotional responsibility is for everybody else, that you don't have regulated emotions. This is where more labels come into it. Everyone wants to go and get a diagnosis of ADHD or on the ASD spectrum or borderline personality disorder, depression, anxiety, or whatever other disorders are out there. There's too many to name, and I'm really quite sick and tired of them because they're actually not true. We are so quick in this society to label everything with a name to give you permission for said behavior. But what survival mode actually is childhood conditioning. It arrives in high performance environments where you've had to show up and do everything for everyone, and you can't say no, and you just keep going. It shows up in people-pleasing patterns, with toxic partners, stressful workplaces, unresolved trauma, abandonment wounds, lack of safety in relationships, financial pressure, and spiritual dissociation. All of these are different threats, but they all show up as the exact same response in your body. The big twist about it all is most people don't even recognize they're in survival mode. Psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists out there don't like to talk about it. To be honest, I didn't know I was in it until I did. And when I did, the steps that I could take to change it changed my whole life. I just thought I was handling everything the way that I always did. I thought being hypervigilant was normal. My empathy was on hypersensitivity. I didn't want to go to certain places. I didn't want to be around certain people because their energy impacted mine in ways that was unsafe. I looked for danger and exits in every building I ever walked into. I was always prepared for energy before it got to me. I thought I was just handling things the way that I always did. I thought this was an actual strength, but it's not. It's survival mode. It is the body, the mind, the soul keeping me hypervigilant to keep me safe. And that the burnout I went through, the 6 months or more of insomnia that I went through, overwhelm, pain, agony, mystery diseases, all of that just led me to trying harder, trying to be more organized, create more discipline. It led me to chase harder, run faster rather than slowing down and really asking myself, what is running my nervous system? Until I finally saw survival mode and fight or flight or oversensitivity for what it was, I didn't thrive in life. I just coped, and coping is not the same as living. I've been diagnosed with so many different things in life, and so many times I've just turned around and said, no, I don't want it. I have anxiety. I have CPTSD. I probably have borderline personality, depression, anxiety. I had rheumatism. I had all sorts of things that I've just gone, no, I don't want it. Anytime you tried to label something, my soul and body knew that wasn't what it was, but I didn't know what it was at the time. I don't think I really realized in myself that I was in survival mode until after I had my hysterectomy. When in that 6-week period of recovery, I literally couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think. My body needed time out. The burnout was real. The shutdown was real. Because 6 months before that, I'd been going through insomnia and problems with the blood clot that was in my system that I was treating. I was fatigued. My body and hormones were out of control. And I all put it down to the fibroid that I had, but it wasn't actually true. It was because my body knew nothing else than survival. I've been fighting for survival my whole life. I didn't grow up in nurture. I didn't grow up in love. I grew up trying to take care of myself, becoming highly independent. And I used to think that independence was a massive strength. Asking for help was so wrong on so many levels. Because why couldn't I do it for myself? I can do anything I want to. These were automatic instincts that were born in me and habits that were nurtured over years and years and years. But once I knew it and I understood it and realized that this didn't have to be this way, I could take control and change things, that's when everything changed. Now, it didn't happen overnight. Behaviors and habits and long-standing beliefs take time to filter through, because you literally fix one and there's another one lying underneath and another one and another one. But the first thing that you had to do was acknowledge that there was something not working for you in your body and your system. And the moment you did, that is when those behaviors, those habits, those feelings can change. I started out with affirmations. For 3.5 years, I used to walk past a window, a mirror, any reflective surface and say, I love you, Sharon. And I used to pull faces because I hated myself. I felt hate. I said it, I did it, but I didn't feel it. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why I was so unlovable. I didn't know why I wasn't wanted. I didn't know why nobody cared about anything about me. I just knew that I didn't care. And my non-caring was something taught to me because it was learned behavior. But I chose to change it and not hide behind it anymore, not use it as an scapegoat, not use it as a defense of, oh, my trauma is speaking and this is what it is. I took personal responsibility for how I was, who I was. And then I decided to change my thinking first. Because you can't change feelings and behaviors until you change your thoughts. That's why the I love you in the mirror was only the first step. Any negative thinking as it came up, I would stop it in its place, say no more. This is what I want to believe instead. I had to be disciplined. I had to be focused. I had to choose how to do it. At the time, I didn't know about EFT, Ho'oponopono, and some of the somatic rituals that I know now. Nowadays, it's so easy for me to change this, and this is what I want to teach you. It doesn't have to be as hard as the way that I did it close to 15 years ago now. I didn't know any better way, but I persisted and I kept going, and I changed my thoughts daily. I started with gratitude. I used to write things I was grateful for. I write down my happy thoughts. I started with affirmations, telling myself I love you, finding good things in my life, focusing on what triggers were coming up and what were they actually talking to me about and what were the thoughts and feelings hidden behind them. Because once you realize that you can no longer hide behind it or call it fate or blame everybody else, and that no one is coming to rescue you, you get the choice of staying that victim and becoming that burden and being no one, or rising up and saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm worthy of this. I deserve this. I want this. And nothing and no one will stand in my way. I would no longer sugarcoat my survival patterns because it kept me stuck for years and years and years. I didn't choose it. It was something that I went through. Nowadays, I realize I actually did choose it because that's what my soul wanted, and that's how I showed up for it. That's what taught me to become who I am. That helped me discover everything about me. Would I choose it the same way now? Hell no. But I'm so grateful for it because it taught me so much about myself. I understand where it came from. Do I have animosity and hate towards the people that created it for me? I'm so grateful to say not any longer. But yeah, I spent years doing that. I was in the blame mode. Everybody else caused it. I didn't choose it. It wasn't me. But the moment that choice, that differentiation, that appreciation of all of that embodied within me, I opened the gates to my prison. I set myself free. That was my get out of jail free card. My personal responsibility saying, I don't want this anymore. I don't allow it here. Not in my world. Changed my whole life. I walked out of that prison and I no longer let anybody else scare me, fear me, or trigger me back into it because I took responsibility for my triggers. So if you triggered me, I worked out the underlying pattern and behavior and changed it. Simply because I respect myself so much that I deserved that, nothing less. I released the hate, surrendered the anger, and let go of the turmoil. Ho'oponopono helped me do the final layers of it, the forgiveness aspect of understanding all of that happened so that I could become who I am today. And I love who I am today. That's what matters. Learn to fall in love with yourself again. Who are you? Who do you show up with and as in the world? What aspects, personality traits, behaviors are important to you? These are the patterns that you highlight and you create into rituals and routines and show up for them. It's not easy. It's really hard work, but you're so worth it. It actually only takes about 67 days to create a new habit, so you can change little things. Don't turn around and go, oh my God, I'm just going to stop that and change it all at once, because it won't work. You will fail. But micro changes, mini routine alterations, affirmations, gratitude, appreciation, forgiveness to self, somatic releases from the body, breath work, EFT. These powerful tools will help you let go of the angst, surrender the cortisol, let go of the adrenal overload in your body, surrender to peace, meditation, calmness, and just pure clarity of your thoughts and your feelings, understanding what you feel, allowing those emotions to be truly felt, no longer dismissing them, forgiving yourself and the people that taught it to you so that you can rise up to become who you are. Forgiveness is not about approval, it's actually release. It is giving yourself permission to send it away. Stop carrying it with you. Don't hate your parents, your exes, or your old jobs, the systems, old friends, the past. Don't hate the people that created this. Just love yourself enough to make change. For when you love yourself and you really choose to take responsibility for this, you give yourself permission, and that freedom is peace. You deserve to have a rest. You deserve to give yourself space. You certainly deserve to let go of everything and stop carrying and absorbing energy and problems from family, friends, and your lineage or your ancestral line. And you really deserve to stop surviving and start actually living. This process isn't easy when you have to do it by yourself, but the good news is you don't have to do it by yourself. 1, I'm here to help you. 2, there are loads of resources out there. There is so much more information out there to help you than there ever has been before. As I said, over 15 years ago, when I realized how I was living my life and I chose to change it, there wasn't as much information. There wasn't as much help as there is. Social media, YouTube, podcasts give you all the tools you need. But there are also coaches, healers, and teachers out there willing to support you and guide you along the way. It's time to take back your power. It's time to choose you, to become the person you know you are, to get out of survival mode. I can honestly tell you, you cannot stay in survival mode. You will break. You will create autoimmune disease, cancer, problems in your health. It will go down and down and down. Cortisol, adrenals and the lymphatic system cannot sustain survival mode long term. It breaks down the body. It drains the life out of you. It strips you of joy, intuition, confidence, and self-worth. But if you actually take ownership, change your behaviors, micro behaviors, or as James Clear says it, set yourself up with some atomic habits. Show up for yourself. You can rise higher than ever before. You can become everything you've ever wanted. Survival mode no longer has to be your identity. It's just a chapter. And we're going to turn the page and write a new one. Step into self-led living. This next chapter that you're going to write, it's about safety, clarity, desire, alignment, purpose, love, worth, acceptance. That's where freedom lies. You are the creator of your life. Everything that is happening to you, through you, for you, because of you, is a choice that you have, that you can stay where you are or make a decision and choose better. You deserve better. You are worthy of everything on this God's grace of earth. God actually wants you to have it all if you just open your heart and listen to Him. You can release survival mode. You can get these hormones, these energies and frequencies out of your body. You can heal. You can rise up. You can become who you're meant to be. Not who someone wants you to be, but who you are meant to be for you and you alone. Because you do deserve it. You are worthy and beautiful inside and out. And you're still here because there is some wonderful things available for you. That's why we live. To experience greatness, high emotion, joy, happiness. You can have everything you want if you only give yourself permission. And if you struggle to give yourself permission, please take it from me. Permit yourself to surrender these feelings. Tapping, EFT will help you change the mindset factor. It will somatically help you get rid of the cortisol, the adrenaline, the adrenal fatigue within your body. Somatic exercises and breathwork would help you open up your body to release the energy. You can surrender fight and flight mode if you give yourself time and permission. And you certainly deserve that. You deserve the world. And I'm here to support you if you want it. Shine with Shaz starts in a few weeks, and this program will give you all the tools, techniques, and ideas of how you can release yourself from the prison that you've created. And yes, you like to say that somebody else put you in there and that it's because of other people that it happened. And somewhat it is, but it only happened because you chose to grow and evolve through it. It's time to grow. Evolution is there. Be the butterfly. The caterpillar's in its cocoon. Break free. Open the door and rise. You can fly as high as you like. You're ready. You deserve it. And it's here waiting for you. If you need any help, reach out. I offer free calls to give you information, to give you tools and tips. I will willingly and happily create a perfect script for you on your thoughts, your problems, your survival mechanisms, because everyone is different. Yes, we all go through the same mode, but it is different how it shows up for us. You can get a free little script from me happily in that free call. Just ask, because you can. You deserve it, and I'm willing to help you in that way. And if you are ready to dive deeper and give yourself all the healing and freedom in the world that you deserve, come and join me in Shine. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.